My 29th ex-husband 31 meters asked me for a divorce 5 months ago, but is now trying to woo me back. My ex-husband and I got married 5 years ago, after being in a long-distance relationship for 2 years. At the time, I believed my ex loved me, but once the honeymoon period was over it became apparent he had only ever been in lust with me. I was a late bloomer when it came to dating, so I didn't have the experience to figure it out before we got married. He pretty much discarded me once he had got the lust part out of his system, and I was sent to live in his house in my home country, while he lived in and traveled to various countries, like some unwanted toy. The only time I saw him was when he would stop by for 6, before he immediately left again. For the first 2 years, I stayed where he wanted me to, and held on to the hope that he would realize he was treating me awfully. He didn't. So I left. I always knew he was keeping tabs on me, so he would find out the minute I left. And after the way he had treated me, I didn't think he deserved the courtesy of a face-to-face breakup. So I didn't warn him. I received one call from him a week after I left asking me where I was and informing me he had never had to beg for something in his life, so if I expected him to beg me to come home I would be disappointed. He never contacted me after that, and I never contacted him either. Fast forward to 5 months ago, and my ex shows up on my doorstep unexpectedly to tell me he wanted a divorce. Our relationship has been over for a long time, so I was shocked by how much that hurt, but I agreed. My ex expected me to make things difficult and messy for him, but I wanted him to go away just as much as he wanted this divorce. So I was willing to sign and agree to his terms to make it happen. Despite me agreeing to what he wants, he has spent his time buying me gifts, inviting me to dinner under the pretense that he wants to talk about the divorce, but spending the entire time talking about our marriage and what went wrong, apologizing to my family and making amends with them too, doing me favors, etc. I don't understand why he is acting like this, and I don't know how to handle it. What do I do? How do I handle this? Too long didn't read. My ex was a terrible husband who disposed of me once the honeymoon period wore off. He finally asked me for a divorce 5 months ago, and even though I agreed to his terms, he has spent the last few months trying to woo me for some unknown reason. There is too many red flags in this. Do not go back. Proceed with the divorce. Reason 1, you are an adult. You do not need a babysitter or someone to keep tabs. Reason 2, he is coming back now because you let him use you for sex and leave almost no strings. Reason 3, if you are not happy with him then you would not be unless he changes completely, and who is to say that will happen if you do not divorce him? Leave him. You did not do what he wanted you to do. Sounds like I did bet he was not banking on you saying fine, let us get divorced, so now he is trying to keep you looped in for whatever ego-fulfilling reason he has for being married to someone he does not even like. I did bet he married you in the first place just to have the got married box marked on his life plan. Like he said before, he has never had to beg for anything in his life before, so he is intrigued that he now has to beg for you. But as soon as he gets you back, he will see it as a victory for him and you will be discarded again. Do not fall for it. Be the one thing he can never have instead. Came here to say this exact sentiment. He's probably trying to woo you because he didn't get the satisfaction of breaking your heart when he asked for a divorce. Once he gets you back, he will either go back to his old ways and ignore you, or he will divorce you like he originally planned, so he can feel like the victorious one. What do I do? How do I handle this? You stop going out for dinner with this jackball. You stop giving him any of your time. If he has things to say, he can say them to your lawyer. Your ex is walking back the divorce because he wants ongoing access to low effort sex, and he wants the emotional kick of having you on the hook waiting for him. He is making nice with your family because he plans on using them against you when you stop giving him what he wants. He is expecting them to do his dirty work by pressuring you into staying married to him. That is why he is putting on a show. So prepare yourself to cut off idiot relatives the minute they do his dirty work. Those 2 years when you kept lingering, hoping he had see the errors of his ways, those were the best 2 years of the marriage as far as he was concerned. He had the ego stroking high of knowing he had you right where he wanted you, needy, lonely, confused and begging for his approval. He wants that back. He is wooing you now because keeping you confused and off balance is what he gets off on. Unless you want to keep indulging his kink, stop giving this man your time and attention. I don't understand why he is acting like this, and I don't know how to handle it. What do I do? How do I handle this? Because he does not actually want a divorce. He wants control. If you divorce him, he has no more control over you. Everything he has done since you went silent on him is a bit to get you back under his thumb. He withdrew from you as a lesson. Do what he wants, or you would not get love. He underscores this by insisting that he has never had to beg for a woman in his life. That is, you are nothing to me, and I can easily walk away from you. This is a common psychological trick to make himself appear more valuable in your eyes. The idea is that you look at your life and think, he will walk away from 5 years without a backwards glance. I never meant anything to him, and now he is going to be knee deep in women. I'm such a loser. I will never attract anyone ever again. Maybe I should reach out to him. But that did not work. So he brought out the big guns, divorce. But that did not work. So he has settled on love bombing back into submission. Next up, probably horrible insults about how fat and ugly and stupid you are. How no one can possibly bear to be with you, except for him. Of course. He will tolerate you because he is a great guy like that. Seriously. And equally seriously, he will expect you to be grateful for this. After that, maybe threats to kill himself. Controlling people never want to give up control. He can no more fathom giving up control over you than he can voluntarily refusing to breathe. That is just how it works. Block him and have all communication about the divorce directed towards you, lawyer. His intentions are incredibly bad, and your instincts are incredibly good. You should not have turned it down. You have wasted years on this idiot. It is the least you deserve in terms of compensation. Far too many women leave with nothing because they are desperate to leave the heartache and stress of a bad marriage. Later on, when the emotional cloud clears, they usually end up regretting it. I would also urge you to find strong legal representation. When he realizes you are not going to be wooed and won, he could get nasty. Make sure you have legal support ready to go. He sounds like one of those only wants what he can't have kind of guys. The thrill is in the chase. Then he loses interest soon after he wins you. Don't fall for it. He will just lose interest again. But if you just walk away, you will own real estate in his brain forever as the one who resisted his charms. LOL. You deserve much better than this crappy guy, and there are much better men out there. But you will never find one as long as you let this guy continue to string you along. To put it bluntly, you let him use you for sex. He got 6, and then he could do whatever the heck he wanted, including seeing other women, traveling the world, etc. He was completely independent, but this marriage gave him access to your vagina with no fuss, no effort, no costs. He cannot get this deal from any other woman. He have to put effort into wooing them, catering to them, etc. Or he have to pay money for sex workers. With you it is free sex. Without you it is either effort required, or it costs money. Why do not you get yourself a lawyer and tell him to talk to the lawyer and ask the lawyer if the terms set by your ex are legal or acceptable? Because honestly they may not be. That is what lawyers are for. To handle the divorce communication. And if possible, call the police if he shows up at your door unexpectedly again. In his mind, you were that sure thing he could always count on for a duck whenever he felt like it. Like an old coat. You wear it, take it off, put it in the closet, and it's always there when you come back for it. Even if you do not wear that coat again for years. This dude just wants his emergency lay back under his thumb. Once you are back in what he considers your place, he will resume going back about his business as usual. The reason he is so insistent right now is he has probably have little luck on the open market at finding a new chick to duck. So it's imperative he get his emergency option back. OP, this guy is an absolute tool. I feel like he is using this divorce as a psychological weapon against you. He says things like, "OHH, I have made amends with my wrongdoings. I apologize to your family. We could have been so much more." And blah blah blah. As well as going on these dates are giant red flags. He wants you to think that this is a mistake so that you can cancel the divorce and get back to being his personal sex doll. OP. I highly recommend that you proceed with the divorce and get that human trash out of your life. You deserve way better than him. Do not sacrifice your happiness for his personal gains. I really think that you should stop talking to him. If he reaches out, tell him that all future communications must go through your divorce attorney. If I had $1 for every selfish jerk who temporarily regretted their grass is greener mentality when they realize they can't get consistent sex and companionship. But remember, they always go back to their old ways. People on the extreme end of the selfishness spectrum like your husband don't really ever change. Your husband could be a narcissist. It would explain why he needs the ego boost of using you and why he's being so charming and manipulative. If you have time, you might want to read up on narcissists and the telltale signs of a narcissistic spouse and how to escape it. It might help you to mentally armor yourself against his manipulations. Once you understand how a narcissist's brain works, it's much easier to see through their games and to stand up for yourself. Good luck, dear. He is not making amends. If you go back, it will be the exact same situation as before. He just wants a woman in his home to be there when he fancies coming home. He is just trying to buy back your love, to put you back in your place of whiffy, and things will go back the way they always were. Is he taking responsibility for how much he ducked up? Or is he trying to frame it as something you are both responsible for? Did he eat his words and beg? Is he taking responsibility for how much he ducked up? Or is he trying to frame it as something you are both responsible for? Did he eat his words and beg? He is taking responsibility. He explained his thought process behind why he did what he did, but then admitted he was wrong, and he should not have made assumptions or decisions the way he did. He has not tried to blame me. The closest he has got to begging is when we were talking about the phone conversation we had, and he was saying he should have handled it better, and I made a snide comment about how he should have tried begging, and he said maybe I should have. He is a narcissist. He is going through the cycle. Look on a life after narcissism and find next narcissistic ex. What he plans to do later is reel you in, make you vulnerable, love him and forgive him, and then when you have your heart totally open, go down. He is going to discard you in the most painful way possible. I bet he is still mad that you left him first. He wanted to be the one who can discard you. So right now, he is setting it up for that moment when he gets to discard you and then gets to feel good how he got back at you. Stop meeting with him. Stop speaking to him outside what is strictly necessary for the divorce to be completed, and do that through a lawyer, if at all possible. He is not a good partner and is probably just reaction to a sense of lost power. He has never chased anyone and probably expected you to run after him. It is probably very uncomfortable for his ego that you are so willing to be rid of him. If he can win you back, he can still divorce you while also feeling like he had the upper hand and he ended things. There is no benefit to you in maintaining contact with him. I do not understand why you are being so passive in this whole situation. The timeline is bizarre. You got married 5 years ago, were discarded shortly afterwards, yet you continued to live in some place he put you up in. Then 5 months ago he says he wants a divorce. What were you doing thinking in all that time? Why did not you want a divorce? What was the point of being legally married to someone who you never saw, who obviously did not give a crap about you? Take some control of your life. You are 29 years old. You are not 19. You get a lawyer. You get the divorce. And FFS, stop going out to dinner with him. Stop allowing your family to remain in touch with him. Stop talking to him altogether. This marriage is over and has been for a very long time. Do not allow him to dictate how you live your life. Hopefully you will learn something from all this. This guy sounds like a classic narcissist. Uses you for what he wants from you, but forgets about you when you are of no use to him. The analogy I have heard is narcissists see you like an umbrella. When it is raining you will feel very important. When it is not, they will leave you in a corner and forget about you. And if it is ever raining and you are not around, he is gonna do whatever it takes to get you back. But all you will ever be is a tool to them. He likes to control the situation. And when you were okay with the divorce, he probably felt out of control. Now he is love bombing you, hoovering is another term I have heard to try to get that control back. I think sometimes him fighting for you can feel like that drug you have been missing, and it is really hard to stay away. But trust me, get through that initial withdrawal, and you will be so much better off. Plus, the second you are back under his control, he will go back to treating you in the exact same shitty way. Stay far away. The best thing you ever did for your sanity was leaving, and this divorce will finalize that. I suggest Dr. Amani on YouTube. She has a lot of good content on how to deal with these people. I think in this situation, you need to just not engage with him. I think she calls this grey walling. You may have logistical things you need to figure out, but beyond that, do not talk about your day. Do not talk about how you have been. If there is nothing logistical, you should not be talking. These people are very difficult, and they do not change. This process is going to be tough, but you have already done the hardest part by walking away. You have got this. Sus as can be, his actions are beyond strange. Wide shot in the dark here, but is it possible there is a reason he must remain married? I'm thinking inheritance, or life cover, or medical cover. Will family disown him if he divorces? Is there property or assets in your home country he needs you to access? The other reason I'm considering is his ego boost. Is he challenging himself to get you back into the isolated situation he left you in the last time? Is the thrill of pursuing you, coupled with the challenge of putting you back where he wants you, driving him to pull out all the stops? Is the whole thing a setup, just to reel you back in? Either ways, route every single interaction through a lawyer, and move house if needs be, to stop him turning up on your doorstep. Block him on everything. You have worked too hard to rebuild your life, to let him derail it with fake charm and false promises. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.